is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. It's been 5 years since 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio of Essex was shot and killed at a birthday party in Fort Erie. Today, again, 5 years later, a jury has convicted a Toronto man for the murder. A sense of closure for her family, who spoke exclusively with our Michelle Molesky.
It's definitely a bittersweet time in our lives.
5 years ago today, 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio of Essex was brutally murdered. She was at a birthday party at this short-term rental in Fort Erie with her friend, 18-year-old Christine Crooks.
She didn't think about herself. She did what was right. She said she was going to call 911, and for that, she was gunned down. She was murdered because she had principles.
27-year-old Christopher Lucas of Toronto was on trial for 11 weeks.
The hardest thing to hear was the fact is something we didn't hear, which was the truth of what happened and how it happened.
The jury of 6 women and 6 men spent 2 full days deliberating. The verdict was in Saturday afternoon.
That last hour was excruciating. Trying to stay upbeat, we're hoping for the best, but trying to prepare ourselves for the worst.
Guilty, the jury foreperson said, on both counts.
I was so happy that he was going to be held accountable. No more lies. We didn't have to listen to any more lies. The jury saw through all of that misdirection.
The minimum sentence for second-degree murder is 10 years in prison, but 9 of the jurors recommended Lucas be forced to serve 25 years in prison before applying for parole. Both moms will be drafting victim impact statements for the court for the upcoming sentencing hearing in Welland. They say moving forward in their grief journey is made easier by the convictions.
We felt like we had been holding our breath for 5 years, and we don't have to hold our breath anymore. We don't have her back, but we don't have to hold our breath anymore waiting for the answer. We know the answer, and the rest of the world knows the answer too.
Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
A Windsor man is waking up from a nightmare years after he launched a lawsuit against his co-workers over a winning lottery ticket. CTV's Robert Lothian reports.
After the win, I became the Jeffrey Dahmer of lotto, and it's pretty hard to swallow.
After a 4-year-long dispute over the winnings in a work lottery pool, Phil Sotzos feels a sense of closure. His legal battle against the other 16 members of the pool reaching a settlement this fall.
I'm under an NDA, so I'm going to say this. I cannot tell you if I got money or not. I cannot say that. I can just tell you that we are settled. I'm going to say it's more of I'm glad it's over than a vindication.
Sotzos' lawsuit stems from his time working sporadically as a driver at an auto parts company in 2021. A member of a work lottery pool, he alleges keeping a tab wasn't uncommon.
It's when I saw him, I paid him. Like I said, sometimes I wouldn't see him for a couple months, and we would just keep a tab going. There was also times where I prepaid.
That was until one day he arrived at work with a pizza in hand.
Walked in, gave him a pizza. I'm like, "What's up, guys?" And they kind of looked at each other. I kind of got a funny feeling about it. It's the way they looked at each other.
Those looks were the result of the lottery pool winning a $1 million prize. Sotzos just didn't know it.
I get back in my car, I get in my phone, hit Google, and the first thing that comes up, the guy eating the pizza, he's holding $1 million check. And that's how I found out.
Cut out of the $1 million share, Sotzos launched a lawsuit. If given a cut, he says each person will only lose about $4,000. Losing out on the winning ticket cost him more than money.
It's a pretty bitter pill to swallow. Having your friends flame you like that. Over what? Over $4,000.
Unable to share the results of the settlement, Sotzos wants his story to be a lesson for those in group lotto pools. OLG offers an online tool for group play. For those using a more traditional method, they advise using a team coordinator, documenting the players, setting a deadline to play, and deciding how the winnings will be split. All of those are tools Sotzos wishes were included in his pool, a time in his life he's ready to move on from.
I did what I thought was right. I'll take it to my grave that these guys knowingly cut me out.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
The mayor of Pelee Island says she's disappointed after significant vandalism damaged public land. Mayor Kathy Miller says someone in a small vehicle drove donuts through the municipal campground and nearby conservation property. She calls the damage unnecessary and disheartening. The incident has been reported to OPP. A Windsor City Councilor says vandals were targeting copper wiring when they damaged the lights at a popular tobogganing hill.
I don't know how much or anything like that, but at least that's some of it. So they were after the wiring inside the poles, and I would assume they're trying to, sell that for scrap.
Ward 2 City Councilor Fraser Father says he learned through social media the lights were not turning on at the hill in Malden Park. After talking to city staff, they learned vandals ripped out the wiring, which means the lights don't work. Residents are now being asked to avoid using the hill after dark. Father says they're still assessing the cost and timeline to repair the lights. Forest Glade residents are warning 2 proposed 6-story residential buildings will not be welcome in their neighborhood. Residents weighed in on the proposal on Lozon Road near Forest Glade Drive at an open house earlier tonight. The HD Development Group is proposing 176 units across 2 buildings, but there's no word on whether they will serve as apartments or condos. The developer is asking the city to raise the building height limit from 12 meters to 20. A handful of area residents spoke adamantly against the project, fearing it won't fit in with the neighborhood. Imposes on other properties risks adding more traffic congestion and could pose environmental risks. The development must conduct and submit several studies to the city before it can come to council.
If it follows the rules that are stated by the province and the city, then that's what we're kind of working for. So the rule right now is 12 as height, and the main proposal is 20. That's the key one that people have to remember, because that is directly related to the volume, the number of units.
Kingsville Town Council has narrowly voted in favor of submitting a bid on the former Kingsville District High School.
I think that is a beautiful location for many things. Affordable housing in the back. You can have your town hall. I would love to see that migration hall being used full force.
Council voted 3-2 to take another swing at acquiring the downtown property. If the town's bid is successful, staff will return to a public meeting with the price and terms. Preliminary ideas for the space include creating a new town hall and housing units. Kingsville previously showed interest in purchasing the property, but was rejected by the province. Staff report states the condition of the building isn't fully known.
I feel that there's too many unknowns with the condition and the costs of repair and or demolition, whichever it ends up being, and I don't want to take that chance.
A dramatic ice rescue this weekend. 2 dogs stranded on an ice floe on the Detroit River a few kilometers from shore. They are now safe thanks to swift response from LaSalle Fire and a nearby marine operator. CTV's Sanjay Maru explains how this all went down.
After photos circulated on social media showing 2 dogs stranded on a patch of ice in the Detroit River, emergency services responded. LaSalle Fire could see the animals, but getting to them was more of a challenge. So emergency crews turned to a reliable source for help.
We have a close relationship with LaSalle Fire. We've worked with them many times over 45 plus years. So if they need something, they can always call us.
Jude Mead of J&J Marine says the fire department was in need of backup. He was in possession of an airboat capable of better traversing through heavy ice, allowing LaSalle Fire to reach the dogs quicker. Together, they were able to travel a few kilometers north to get to the animals.
They were just a little scared because they don't know any of us. So then eventually they kind of warm up to the idea and they want to get off the ice and they come in.
The dogs were pulled into Mead's airboat, and once on land, the 2 cold canines were brought to the Lakeshore Dog Pound, where officials are hoping their owner will pick them up.
They were reviewed by a vet over the weekend before they got to the Lakeshore Dog Pound, so a clean bill of health. I just got back from the dog pound. The dogs seem to be in good health, good shape for what they went through over the weekend.
It's not clear how the dogs ended up stranded on the ice. As for Mead, he says he's no hero and just wants people to know he was there to help fire officials however he could.
They were the ones that received the call. They're the ones that located the dogs. They're the ones that pretty much told us where the dogs were. So we just jumped in the airboat and went out there and assisted them.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And Liam's wish comes true. Still ahead, a young Leafs fan delivers some specially designed gear to his hero, Austin Matthews. Gary, clearly extremely cold out there, but wow, the wind gusts.
Yes, the wind is making it feel that much colder by several degrees. You're absolutely right, Stephanie. Good evening, folks. Once again, we're looking at temperatures through the overnight that will feel like the -20s. Some areas of southern Ontario, it could feel like -25 to -30 early tomorrow morning, just before dawn, and perhaps even through that morning rush hour. It is frigid now. It will be even colder tomorrow morning. And of course, exposure to this kind of cold will be problematic if you're not dressed for it, obviously. Today's high of -7.5, well below seasonal. Our low is -12.6, about -13. And of course, we had snow, 2 to 4 centimeters. The winds out of the west and southwest, northwest, change of direction. Obviously, the profile is very important because with westerlies and northwesterlies, you have them fetching across Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, of course. And we've seen some of that draw across much of the southern Midwest. Couple of things that have taken place in the last couple hours. Late this evening, we've seen the winds actually picking up. And if you live along the shores of Lake Huron or Lake St. Clair, could get into some lake effect coming off Lake Michigan. There's enough impetus, enough energy in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere to draw and sustain it that far to our west. Some of the snow, though, the heaviest bands are likely to fall in and around Georgian Bay, the Bruce Peninsula, upwards of 10 to 15 centimeters. I think in the next 24 hours, 2 to 5 centimeters for us in extreme southwestern Ontario is a reasonable estimate. The overnight temperature, the lowest, will likely be -16, coming in around 1 to 2, maybe 2:30 a.m., feeling like -27. Again, those winds sustained at 30 kilometers per hour on average, with gusts in the 50-plus range, upwards of 60, 65. Here's the breakdown for tomorrow. -14 at 8 a.m. feels like -25. A few flurries, and then we're looking at a high going up to about -12 late in the afternoon. We'll see some sunshine, but it will be cold. And speaking of cold, those temperatures remain below seasonal, save for Wednesday at -2. It gets colder from there, -6, -9, into the minus double digits. Snow the next 2 to 3, maybe even 4 days possible. And some accumulations, that 2 to 5 centimeters in the next 24. Do dress warmly. You'll need to.
Mark Carney and Donald Trump will likely come face-to-face at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland this week. As CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports, it's the third stop on the PM's trip to shore up global trade ties.
The Prime Minister is one of a record 400 top political leaders in Davos for the World Economic Forum. But it's one leader who's not even there yet, Donald Trump, who is dominating the conversation and raising the tension. Prime Minister Mark Carney will kickstart his time at the World Economic Forum with a fireside chat tomorrow and a speech later in the day all about what he calls the New World Order and Canada's approach. Expect him to talk about trade and the importance of diversifying Canada's trading partner, a message he has been spreading throughout this trip. But while trade and the economy may be topics the leaders here want to talk about, geopolitics and Trump's latest tariff threats are quickly taking over. A number of the 8 EU leaders facing Trump tariffs over Greenland will be at the World Economic Forum, including French President Emmanuel Macron tomorrow, who Carney will be meeting with. Right now, there is no indication that Carney and Trump will be meeting, but the two will be in Davos at the same time. The Prime Minister has said if he runs into Trump, he will raise his concerns about Greenland and the fact that Canada stands with Denmark and Greenland. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Corton, Switzerland.
Canada's inflation rate edged up slightly in December, rising to 2.4%, following a 2.2% increase in November. Statistics Canada says the year-over-year acceleration across all items in the Consumer Price Index was driven by the removal of the GST-HST tax break that had been in effect the year before. Grocery prices rose 5%, with coffee and frozen beef rising the fastest, 30% and nearly 17% respectively. Gasoline prices fell nearly 14% in December. Canada's main stock index was helped today by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX gained 50 points. American markets were closed for the Martin Luther King Day. The Canadian dollar added 1/5 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $81 an ounce. Oil is up 9 cents a barrel.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
What's called a drive-thru culture is expanding across Windsor, Essex, and it's no longer limited to traditional fast food chains. Lakeshore is now home to the first ever drive-thru for Canadian smoothie chain Booster Juice. Here's CTV's Chris Campbell.
Cars pull through a double-lane drive-thru at a new Booster Juice location in Lakeshore, something the Canadian chain has never done before.
The very first Booster Juice drive-thru ever.
The company says the move reflects how customers are changing the way they order food, with speed and convenience increasingly driving decisions, even for brands known for walk-in service.
We thought it was going to be more equal split, but right now we have about 70% is coming through the drive-thru.
The drive-thru on Amy Croft Drive marks a shift not just for the company, but for the local commercial landscape as well. Lakeshore's mayor says businesses are adapting to the growing region and evolving consumer expectations.
We know that we're looking forward to these kind of investments to take place here. We also know that Lakeshore has 27% of the 100-kilometer biking system here in Essex County. So, you know, does this make sense? Is it on the route? You know, and how many people will be stopping during their bike ride?
It's a huge milestone. It's off to a great start.
Dale Wishwan, the president, CEO, and founder of Booster Juice, says while drive-thrus have long been a staple of fast food, there is room in the market for healthier options as well, testing whether convenience can coexist with fresh preparation.
People want convenience, and you know, I didn't think I would ever see people just ordering a Booster Juice on a Sunday kind of afternoon through third-party apps. All this just, again, speaks to convenience.
For customers, the change appears to be welcome.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Love it. It's very convenient. Some of their locations are one at the mall, one on Tecumseh Road East, which is hard to get to. So this is perfect for us.
I'm coming from a massage, so I get to enjoy my Booster Juice, and it's nice, yeah.
Booster Juice says it's still early, but the Lakeshore location is helping them gauge whether drive-thrus could play a larger role in the brand's future.
This will be the first of many.
In Lakeshore, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
How easy is it for kids to play outside where they live? Well, new research is mapping how neighborhoods design supports or limits outdoor play for young children.
No matter which residential street you stand on, eventually a car is going to pass. But how often and how many are factors researchers say can shape a neighborhood's overall kid-friendliness and its playability.
Playability kind of refers to the environmental supportiveness for children's outdoor play.
New research out of the University of British Columbia looks at how supportive neighborhoods are for young kids, scoring postal codes using factors like traffic, as well as green space and places to play. Things that can make it easier or harder for kids to get outside.
There's a lot of concern about the amount of physical activity that children are getting. Currently, about 39% of children in Canada meet the activity requirements. And those habits kind of begin in early childhood.
Emily Gemmel led the UBC research team, bringing together open source data and assigning a play score to neighborhoods across the country, all of it compiled into an interactive map where people can zoom into their postal code and see how their area scored.
Windsor is near the middle.
But Gemmel says if you are just comparing cities, you might miss the point. Big differences show up block by block, depending on things that can quietly shape daily life for families.
Children within the same city might be growing up with completely different environmental supportiveness.
Gemmel says a neighborhood's play score is based on available data, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. After all, it's not the data kicking a ball around or playing hide and seek.
I think that the best indicator of neighborhood playability is going to be from children themselves. You know, you can find a little bush that would be a great fort. And, you know, if your best friend lives next door, that is going to be the most playable neighborhood for you.
What she hopes people take away from the play scores isn't a ranking, but a shift in perspective for both parents and planners.
My hope is that it would just raise awareness about, like, looking at it through a child's eyes.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Snow and bitterly cold temperatures have settled in across the region, but that isn't stopping runners from lacing up and heading outside. As CTV's Bob Ilachico shows us, with spring race season coming up, many are hitting the streets for training.
Not that fun. I have a trip planned soon, so I'm kind of looking more forward to that than the snow.
This university runner is happy he's a sprinter who trains indoors, but for some of his teammates, running outside is part of their training.
Whenever it's like long runs, so anything over 60 minutes, we usually end up going outdoors, but when we all go together, it's not as bad.
Part of it, they have to be outside and running. I mean, running around inside on an indoor track every day is not going to be conducive to, you know, good health for them. They're going to get injuries by doing so. Plus, also getting some fresh air isn't a bad thing as well.
This runner is sticking to a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, there's a lot of business of life and work and kids and family, so it's good to just get out and stretch the legs, work the lungs.
Snow, wind, or rain, it all helps with conditioning.
The winter's kind of a good time to put your base mile in for spring races, so like whether you do treadmill or outside, you have to endure.
Corey Belmore, who took gold at the Detroit Free Press Marathon last year and the half marathon, says today's weather is not going to keep him inside.
I think if you're doing an easy run, as long as you have some flat, smooth, non-icy ground, it's okay to go outside.
That's not to say all of his training is outdoors.
If I'm doing any sort of efforts, controlled paces, I think the treadmill is kind of just safer. You're going to be a more consistent environment.
Belmore says having the right gear and being bundled up is important. Hat, gloves, waterproof shoes with grip, outer base layer, and layering up underneath.
The motto is be bold, start cold. So you're going to be a little cold to start, even though your layers will eventually heat up and keep you warm and insulated.
Belmore says runners have to be strategic when picking where to run.
It's better than getting to a certain route, getting in a bunch of snow, and then your feet are wet, you're slipping around, you're possibly falling. So, yeah, just finding smooth, safe ground is the best.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Gary joins me now. Gary, I'm nowhere near being a runner in the summer, let alone in the winter time, but I can only imagine how essential it is for them to be bundled up in the proper gear.
Oh, absolutely. Thermal layers recommended for any winter sport, whether you're a jogger, but obviously alpine skiing, downhill skiing, snowboarders, anyone, skaters, you could be playing some pond hockey. Wearing those extra layers, right? The extremities could be susceptible to frostbite. Very serious condition, obviously. The next 7 days are going to be cold, especially tomorrow morning. Wind chill value minus 27 just after midnight. It will still feel like about minus 24 to minus 26 at 9 a.m. A high of minus 12 is 11 degrees below seasonal. And more snow Tuesday into Wednesday morning, Thursday and Friday, flurries and temperatures Getting colder after a brief reprieve on Tuesday with a high of -2. That would be seasonal. Then we'll be in the minus double digits by the time the weekend rolls around. Let's look at your weather. Stay safe and stay warm.
Finally tonight, a wish come true for a young Maple Leafs fan. Through the Make-A-Wish program, he was able to meet his favorite player and present him a special gift he designed himself. CTV's Raheem Ladani reports.
This is the moment Liam has been working towards for over a year, hanging out with his hockey idol, Toronto Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews.
I was very excited and happy to meet him for a second time.
I know he's been dreaming of this moment for a really long time. Austin Matthews is incredible. It's his hero.
You see, Liam loves hockey. He gets on the ice whenever he can, though it's sometimes challenging living with cystic fibrosis. He was first diagnosed with the respiratory disorder at 3 weeks old.
At the time, we had no clue that we were carriers of it. So it was really scary for me. But I mean, as you can see, he's grown up to be an amazing little boy.
And Dina's amazing 10-year-old is also selfless. And this is where Make-A-Wish Canada comes in. Known for creating life-changing wishes for children diagnosed with critical illnesses, the organization asked Liam what he wants. But instead of a vacation or a new toy, Liam wished for the chance to design custom skates and stick for the Leafs captain.
It just reminded me of Austin Matthews, and I wanted to be like him one day.
His heart is so full. He would literally give you the shirt off his back. So it doesn't surprise me that he wanted to do something special for his hero, Austin.
With the help of a custom designer from Calgary, Liam drew some of Matthews' favorite things.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews' dog, and Carlton the bear.
I was supposed to use them as inspiration. When I saw the drawings, I was like, I'm just going to reproduce the exact drawing, and that's what's going to go on the skate.
After Liam gifted Austin Matthews with the custom pair of skates and stick, Liam was then surprised with a replica version of both just for him. And these skates are also signed by Matthews himself. Is there anything he said to you that was really special?
Yeah. He'll try to get as much goals as he can possibly for me.
And as Matthews tries to follow through on his promise, he'll be keeping Liam's favorite saying in mind.
Never give up.
Raheem Ladani, CTV News.
That's your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. See you right back here tomorrow.